Road, the house with the fireplace whose brick base gave me the scar on my eyebrow, my father sang me to sleep in Arabic. The first words of his go-to lullaby, Doha ya Doha, are nonsense, but the whole song sounded like nonsense to me because I couldn't understand my father's native language. He spoke to me always in English, my mother's tongue. The Arabic I heard until we moved from Ohio to Saudi Arabia when I was 8 mostly consisted of children's folk songs and devotional language my father used in prayer. He would lay a pillow on his feet, cradle me in the valley between his legs, and rock me while singing. I didn't know it then, but this cultural practice of rocking and the words he sang transported us from 1970s Shaker Heights, Ohio, across space and time to the site of a very different childhood from mine. My father was born in Mecca sometime in the mid-1940s. We don't know for sure when he was born because he didn't have a birth certificate. He was raised in Mecca, the fourth of my grandparents' 12 children. His was a childhood without battery-powered plastic toys, let alone smartphones and video games. Children played a jacks-like game with pebbles, and my dad never learned to ride a bike. It was also a time when the Meccawi or Meccan dialect and identity within the context of the Hijaz region of Western Arabia remained more distinct from Saudi speech patterns and national identity than they are today. Famously in family lore, my father twice flunked his English final exams in high school, which delayed his graduation. With persistence, he graduated 38th out of a class of 900 and qualified for a government scholarship to study overseas. Then he married an American woman he met studying in San Francisco and raised children whose first language was English. By passing Arabic, and more specifically Hijazi and Meccawi folk knowledge to his non-native speaking children thousands of miles away from where it originated, my father was not only taking part in changing modes of folk transmission, but also manifesting rapid change happening in his society. In the Meccawi household of his childhood, my father tells me, mothers and older siblings, and in some cases fathers, conveyed folk traditions and cared for and played with infants in the multi-story vertical houses common in Mecca until apartment buildings overtook the city's residential neighborhoods in the second half of the 20th century. The vernacular architecture made use of the city's limited space. The holy city is built on and cradled by craggy hills and offered flexibility to rent out lower floors to pilgrims during Hajj. Now an American parent with children of my own, though they are too old these days to be much interested in nursery rhymes and lullabies, I asked my father to help me set down the songs he sang to me, as well as others he remembers from his Meccawi childhood. Doha ya Doha.